I'm happy with that.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Cricket Show. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We'll be talking to young Victorian batsman Matthew Mott, who came down from Queensland and is doing okay. And we'll also be talking to the First Lady of Lords, Lisa Keightley, a little later in the program. But first, Mark Butcher. The English opening batsman came into this test match with no form whatsoever. He was really struggling. But here he made his first test 100 against Australia. Ian Chappell caught up with Mark Butcher this morning.
Mark, congratulations on a great night.
Thank you, cheers. It's a great pleasure.
I know it's always, the first ton in Test cricket is always, I guess it's satisfying, but it also relieves a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
First ton now against Australia. What's the difference between the one against Australia and South Africa?
I think the difference really is the circumstances. You know, the one against South Africa, I've been in really good form and been scoring a lot of runs. This time, they haven't scored a run. It's been well documented, and so it was very nice to step out in the first Test match in Australia and score a century.
And scoring one against Australia mean a lot to you?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. It was, you know, the first team I played against, and sort of had a bit of a rough time there, and so to get 100 against them was a great feeling.
As you said, it was well documented that you hadn't made a lot of runs, and yet you didn't look like a man out of form here in Brisbane.
Yeah, I didn't really feel that I was out of form, to be honest. Just, you know, just been happening that I'd been getting out early. So, you know, I think that the big thing was I made my mind up to be quite positive from the start and just to try and feel the ball on the bat and go from there. And, you know, things went well and, you know, the scoreboard started ticking over.
Oh, good shot again. That's very well played. That was pitched up, swinging into him. He's closed the face on that one and caressed it through the onside. Just managed to get to the boundary.
It's a good shot.
Obviously, we saw you at the start of your career in Test cricket against Australia, but you seem to be playing a lot more shots now. Has that come from the confidence of playing Test cricket?
Yeah, I think so. The more games you play, the more sure you are that you can actually be yourself. You know, you don't have to change as a player just because it's a Test match. You know, obviously this concentration side of it comes in, and you have to be more focused. But I think that, you know, one of the things you learn as you play more games is that you just play like you do normally, and hopefully things will go well for you.
I guess also coming on this tour, you did have the backing of and the confidence of having done well in Australia on the England A tour. Did that help?
Yeah, I think as far as coming here in the first place, knowing that you've played on some of the grounds before and played against some of the bowlers before, and just knowing that you've scored runs against them is always a big help. You know, it doesn't make a tremendous amount of difference, but there's a confidence there that you've done it before and it's not alien to you.
You've played now in a short Test career. You've played against some of the best quick bowlers in the world. You've done very well against the South Africans. You played against the West Indies in the Caribbean, and you played against Glenn McGrath quite a bit. Talk about some of those great fast bowlers.
I think the thread through all of them is the fact that they're, you know, not only are they're fast bowlers, but they're basically, you know, very, very good line and length bowlers, and that's what they do best. You know, somebody like Curtly Ambrose and Glenn McGrath, they don't really change much don't try and do anything special. It's just basically hit a good line, hit a good length over off stump, and you know, keep probing away. And if the ball does do anything, then they're in with a great chance of taking a stack of wickets, which is, you know, and that's what they do so well.
Oh, beautifully struck. And there's a Test ton, the first one against Australia for Mark Butcher. What, your dad having played first-class cricket, what were the things that he impressed upon you as a youngster coming up?
I think more than anything, it was just to make sure that you enjoyed it. You know, just you know, there wasn't any real strict practice regime or anything like that. It was just, you know, enjoy yourself and be relaxed, and you know, and it's not a life or death matter really. You know, and just enjoy it, and then obviously as you get older and you learn more about yourself and more about the game itself, then that's when you start to implant the seriousness of it.
That seemed to come through yesterday. You looked very relaxed, as if it wasn't a life or death matter.
Probably it would have been if I got out. But you know, no, I think that's if you're having a bad run, perhaps. I think maybe the best thing to do is just try and lessen the importance of it a little bit, and hopefully go with the flow and sometimes you get a bit of luck and you can carry on with it and get a score.
Well done. All the best for the rest of the series.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Hugh.
Yes, a good effort from Mark Butcher. Now, coming up after the break will be Lisa's 100 at Lord's. The Lord's Cricket Ground in London has had 200 years of male dominance. Now, the hallowed turf has a woman centurion, Lisa Keightley, our own Lisa Keightley. Amanda de Pledge has more.
Two fingers there, and these ones rest on the side there. Ready, so catch. And off you go, see how we go.
13 years ago, Lisa Keightley was a student here at Mudgee Primary School in country New South Wales. And just like the young boys and girls she's visiting today, she was crazy about cricket. But back in Lisa's day, the rules were very different. Cricket was not considered an appropriate sport for little girls. When she was in primary school, she was really keen to play cricket, but they wouldn't let her on the team. How did she react?
She was a little bit upset when she came home from school the day she tried out. And she came and she said, they wouldn't let me play because I was a girl and it was a boys' team, and girls at that stage were not allowed with the education system, the way it was set up, to play in the boys' team.
A setback that Lisa would eventually overcome. And in the meantime, her big brothers, Dean and Troy, would just have to endure Lisa's punishing attack for a little longer in the backyard at home.
I was probably actually better than them, so I was winning most of them. They're pretty hopeless with the little balls, but when it gets to basketball and football, they were pretty good at that sort of sport, so I used to win on the cricket field though.
Lisa got her first call to official duty in Year 7 at Mudgee High School. Her talent with the bat and ball was rewarded in 1987 when she captained the New South Wales Combined High Schools team on their inaugural tour of New Zealand. And she continued to stun her male counterparts in grade competition.
I played for a local team, Golgong Bowlers Club. That was good. It was very encouraging because they had sort of a structure. We used to play on the Sundays, and the more under-18s in the team, you'd get extra points. So I was under-18, so I was invited to come along to play. So we used to have great fun. I had a lot of, the guys were a lot at my age group. There was a few older ones, and they used to look after us, and they gave me a go. I could handle it, so I used to go in and bat about first drop, and I used to bowl then as well. It used to be a running joke if I got anyone out, so they used to stir the other team up a bit, so it was good fun.
Her next target, Sydney, and Lisa was recruited by Balmain. Determined to develop her position as opener, Lisa struggled to adapt to the women's game.
It took me a few years to adjust, because obviously the women bowl a bit slower and they swing the ball a bit more than the men do. So I was hitting a lot of things in the air, so it took me probably about 2 years to adjust to the pace and to slow my shots down. I was usually early with my shots because the guys are a lot quicker.
In 1991, Lisa was selected in the Australian youth squad and graduated into the Open team a few years later. She made her debut against New Zealand in 1994 and continued to establish a formidable opening partnership with Australian captain Belinda Clark. Early last year, Lisa smashed 156 against Pakistan, a limited overs international world record. But her batting partner eclipsed that mark in December's World Cup with an impressive 229. While Australia celebrated its World Cup victory, Lisa suffered the disappointment of being dropped for the first time in her career.
No one likes to sit off, and all the team knows that. So it was hard. It was probably something that was good for me. I didn't like the timing much, missing out on playing on the World Cup, but at that stage it was probably going to happen. I wasn't batting that well, and they gave Joanne Broadbank a chance, and she took it. And she's done very well, still playing very well at this stage on my downfalls, but that's just the way it goes. It was very hard to take, but I think I've come out stronger for it.
Sarah Collier falling to Lisa Keightley. Width there. Tantalisingly just over the fielder at point.
Lisa was recalled to the Australian team to tour England for the Ashes series in July. The pressure to retain her position was intense, but Lisa responded with the greatest triumph of all. She became the first woman to score a century at Lord's, the headquarters of world cricket.
I really didn't know what I achieved. I was just went out thinking it's another day of cricket. I was trying to play it down a bit that I was actually getting the chance to play at Lord's. So I thought, you know, go out and I'm batting well and see what happens. I didn't even think at the time that I'd get 100. It got closer and closer and I got up to about 94 and I looked up and all the girls were up on the stand with their cameras and I was getting a bit, oh my God, if I get out here, this is going to be disappointing for them, I think. So I've actually got out on 99 before, so the bowler was coming in and I thought, oh, please put it off the stumps, and that was down the leg side and I got it away and got 2 runs, so I was wrapped.
113 not out, a glorious achievement in the history of the game. A moment Lisa will cherish forever, and mostly for the part she played in England's 5-0 demise.
I'm not really a big person on records or those sort of achievements. I try and do the best for the team, and if you do well within that innings, well, that goes along. You just help the team to get to the point of winning, and I think that's why the Australian team does so well, because we do that more so than recognising people's achievements within the team.
Still, there were no prouder people that day in July than the people of Mudgee, and they're delighted when their modest hero returns to town. But her mind is on a new season of international cricket, a summer of unrivalled success.
Maybe just to let people realise that, you know, they've got to work hard to get me out and to consolidate my position in the Australian team and make sure it's mine, basically.
Time now for a break on the Cricket Show, but first, a fitness tip from Warwick Todd.
And a couple of with the steak and mushroom and some dimmies, not steamed, make them fried, and a can of Coke. That'll. Are we rolling? Okay. 98, 99, 100. That felt great. You know, fitness is an essential part of playing good cricket. You can't expect to compete at international level unless you're fit. Unless you want to captain Sri Lanka, then I guess you've got a chance. Fitness, it doesn't take much. It's just a brisk jog in the morning, eating healthy, leave the car behind and walk to work, something I do often. My licence has been suspended again, but that's not the reason. It's fitness. Feels good. Time for another 100. Oh, that hammy's just gone. I said we couldn't do it with the push-ups. It's just not going to work. You have to get someone else in. Simon O'Donnell can do it.
When you were a young bloke, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a cricketer, a fisherman, and these sorts of things, yeah.
Probably not a cricketer, but that's how he ended up.
Cricket, possibly, maybe football.
Who's the hardest bowler you faced?
Was he Macram? I'd say without doubt.
I haven't faced a lot of him, but Wasim would probably be up there in the grand final, along with probably, haven't faced a lot of Warney, but Alan Donald.
Curtly Ambrose and Wasim Macram would be the 2 toughest I faced.
What's your favourite music group?
I like Neil Diamond, although he's not a group, but solo person, Neil Diamond by a long way.
John Williamson.
I can listen to anything very soft and lovey and mellow to anything hard rocking, so I don't really have a favourite, but yeah, extremely diverse.
How would your teammates or your friends describe your karaoke skills?
Very ordinary, but I often have a go though. I've had a few goes at the karaoke. I fancy myself, but my voice is not too good. Probably is pretty ordinary, I'd suggest. I hope you're not going to ask for some now, but no, pathetic.
Favourite ice cream flavour?
Probably passion fruit. I like the passion fruit ice cream.
I think vanilla.
Chocolate, comfortably, but there's by a mile.
Young Matthew Mott has found it difficult in recent seasons to cement his spot in the Queensland Shield team. He's gone in search of greener pastures and chosen Victoria. Tim Gilbert has more.
Many parochial Queenslanders find it tough to acknowledge anything outside their own border. So when Gold Coast-based Matthew Mott decided to move to Victoria for the sake of his cricket career, it wasn't an easy decision.
I just think that I was going a bit stale with the lack of opportunities up in Queensland, and it got to the stage where I could sit tight there and enjoy the sort of comfort zone of the area I was living in, the Gold Coast, and loving that sort of lifestyle, or make a tough decision and move away from it all and start fresh. And Victoria seemed like a good place to start.
With a half-completed teaching degree on hold and no guaranteed income, the Victorian Cricket Association showed faith in the 25-year-old.
The VCA lined up a traineeship. It's actually run through the AFL, and a few of the other guys are on it as well. John Davison, the spinner from Victoria. And I got set up here at Spring Valley Golf Club, and they've been really good. And all the time off I need for my cricket, for training and whatever, the boss here is very lenient, yeah.
Just as things looked perfect, this was the first ball he faced in Victorian colours. And his former teammates from the Sunshine State let him know about it.
They actually sent me a fax, putting a bit of egg on me when I got the Golden Duck in my first Shield game for Victoria. So hopefully I'll be able to fax them something back with some good news later in the season.
2 low scores in the next Shield match gave him nothing to fax home about, but a match-winning half-century in the following one-dayer got people talking.
That one into the gap. And that's got him the 50. And in fact, it has touched the rope. Michael Slater signalling to the umpire.
That's good innings by Matthew Mott. Former Queenslander, came down here to see if he could make his way in Victorian cricket. And today, he may just have played a match-winning innings.
Over the last few years, Test commentators have often talked about the Warne factor. When you play for Victoria, the same applies.
It is something very different, I think. Even playing with Alan Border and guys like that, there wasn't the same sort of media attention that Shane seems to attract. And I think it's great for cricket, and it's great for Victorian cricket that someone as high profile as that is rubbing shoulders with some sort of lower level Shield cricketers, and it does give you a buzz being around blokes like that.
Plenty of respect from the pupil to the master, and the feeling seems to be mutual.
Yeah, well, Motty's fitted in beautifully. He's a good fella, Motty. He's a real nuggety, sort of tough character, which is, I think, what we needed. And, you know, he's batting in the number 3 position, a tough place to bat. And, but I'm sure he's going to do the job for us. I think he'll start to enjoy calling Victoria home.
If you look closely at Matthew Mott, you may see a striking resemblance with a young media tycoon, something that has not been lost on his opponents.
Well, I'm actually pretty happy with it because I wouldn't mind being compared to him too much, especially if his bank balance was the same as mine. But they New South Wales guys called me Lockie Murdoch. They reckon I look like Lachlan Murdoch, and I've actually copped it on a plane a couple of times. The stewards on the plane have thought I was. I didn't get any better service, unfortunately.
He may not have the same bank balance as his lookalike, but his coach has plenty of faith in Victorian cricket's investment.
He's a smart cricketer, you know, he's a very intelligent cricketer, and certainly I think a fellow who's committed enough to move state to give himself a chance to play first-class cricket shows that he is desperate to do it. His work ethic's fantastic, and as I said, he's been a very positive response around the group.
How long do you think you'll be here in Victoria?
I've set no time limits. I've come down here with an open mind, and certainly the way it's going so far, it'll be for a few years to come yet.
Yes, Matthew will face his old teammates in December when Victoria play Queensland. We'll have more Cricket Show after the break.
You can't win a cricket match without scoring runs, and to score runs you must play shots. One of my favourites is the cut shot. The cut shot is a stroke where it is important to carefully pick the right ball to hit. Making the right choice could be very rewarding.
That's beautifully played. You go all the way. Mark Waugh plays a positive square cut.
The cut shot is played to a ball which is pitched short and wide of the off stump. And to play it well, you must get yourself into the right position. As with any back foot stroke, the first movement should be a big step back and across. This ensures your head is moving towards the line of the ball. The next thing is to ensure you keep the ball down. You achieve this by hitting down on the ball and rolling your wrists over it. Once again, get those feet into the correct position and watch the ball closely. Don't forget, if you keep the ball on the ground, you can't get caught, so roll those wrists.
Yes, now before we go, the latest cricket scores from around the world, and Pakistan and Zimbabwe in their one-day series. The second match, Pakistan 211 were defeated by Zimbabwe 4 for 212. Zimbabwe did that with 56 balls to spare. In the tour match between the West Indies and Free State, this is a very interesting situation here. Free State in their second innings are 8 for 412. Now they need 26 runs, 2 wickets in hand, and they still have Hansie Cronje there on 147 not out. Now, meanwhile, while we're talking about South African cricket, Shaun Pollock will be the new vice-captain of the South African side. Gary Kirsten has stepped aside at 31 years of age. He feels he's too old to take over from Hansie Cronje, so Shaun Pollock will be the new man at the helm, or under Hansie Cronje, I should say, for South Africa in the upcoming series. Now, in women's cricket, let's have a look at the points table for the National League after the double-header on the weekend, and New South Wales have played 4 and won 4. They're on top with 24. Victoria is second with a 100% rate as well, 2 from 2. They're on 12 points, and WA are on the bottom at the moment. They are yet to win a match. They are obviously on no points. Well, that's about all we have time for today on the Cricket Show. Just a reminder for tomorrow, during the lunch break, we'll be speaking to Dennis Lilly and also Darren Gough. For now, that's it from the Gabba for the Cricket Show. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Smoking it.